Hi, this is Jordan. This month's XDA Developer TV is brought to you by the Samsung Smart App Challenge 2012. Enter for your chance to win your piece of over $4 million in cash prizes by clicking the banner at the top of xdadevelopers.com or by visiting developer.samsung.com. Over the last few videos, over the last few weeks, however you want to look at it, you could say that our coverage has been a little bit unfair, a little bit biased toward Jelly Bean. It's hard to blame us because there is so much news coming out about it. It is the brand new hotness and everybody wants it. However, in an effort to show that we are fair, we are sort of balanced, I would like to announce that Cyanogenmod 9's release candidate version 2 is now available, at least for certain devices, not necessarily for everything. Shake fist that Droid X is still not in there. Although I will say I'm not terribly disappointed now because I have upgraded, so never mind. Anyway, there is a pretty decent looking list of devices out there and some new devices that have been added to the list, like the International Galaxy S3, so if you are interested in seeing more about that, check over on our site or over on their blog for more information. And now back to the Jelly Bean news. In what can only be described as miracle working, the HD2 has done it again. XDA recognized contributor Smokin901 has released a proof of concept version of Jelly Bean for the HTC HD2. Now, while it is still very early and while it is still very buggy, you got to remember this is a device that is very, very dated. So it is very, very cool to see this running on it. Additionally, a couple of other HTC-based devices got ports this week, the Sensation and the Amaze 4G. Now, the Sensation port was based on the Jelly Bean AOSP and brought to us by Sahil Lombar, who is an XDA forum member as well as some other people. And the Amaze 4G port was done by XDA-recognized developer Sportstar89. And the cool thing about that one is it's actually based on the early alpha Cyanogenmod 10. And there are definitely some ups and downs for both of these. These are both to be considered early alphas. There are some things that are just not working. The Sensation is one of the very early ports. The radio, the Wi-Fi, the camera, the GPS, the lots and lots of other stuff are just not working yet. And for the Amaze, the Wi-Fi, the GPS, the GSM, the camera, things like that, they're borked as well. So it is still very early and not a particularly usable port yet. But again, if you'd like to help out with any of these things, do feel free to head on over to the threads. You might be able to contribute, you might be able to fix something, you might just be able to offer a logcat to a dev to let them know what's going wrong. Now the next story, I love the title of it. It's called the Galaxy S2 i9100G doesn't like being left out of the party. And the party being, if you hadn't guessed already, Jelly Bean. It has gotten a preliminary, very, very early build of Cyanogenmod 10 on it now as well, thanks to Codeworks X from Team Hacksung. And since we're going on and on about Jelly Bean and Cyanogenmod 10 that's early but on its way, of course we have to mention the US versions of the Galaxy S3 got an early build of Cyanogenmod 10, and that's actually thanks in large part, in primary part, to XDA recognized developer Cyanogenmod himself. He posted the AT&T and T-Mobile versions of it, and XDA recognized developer Nubanil posted the Sprint version. And there are definitely some issues, and they seem to be common issues between all of the ports. There's some issues with the overlay for the UI, the camera, audio sometimes just dies, and to quote them, all the things. However, as time progresses, Cyanogenmod 10 will grow, it will change, it will get better and better, so we should see some amazing work coming out in the next few weeks, maybe months, maybe years, maybe decades. We have no ETAs and we will not ask for them, right? And while we're talking about that, and just so we don't forget, the International Galaxy S3, the i9300, also got a preliminary port of Cyanogenmod 10 as well. And that is thanks to Team Hacksung, specifically XDA-recognized developer Explode Wild. Although the known list of issues seems to be significantly smaller than the other ones. It says that the FM radio is broken, oh noes, the camera is unstable, and Wi-Fi tethering is semi-broken. So one way or another, if you have one of these devices that has these early builds of Cyanogenmod 10, or just one of the Jelly Bean early alphas like the HD2, if you're interested in trying it out, definitely go ahead and read the posts over on the XDA site, check out the original development threads to see if there are any other things being reported, and then go ahead and try it if you're interested. Now the next two articles I'm going to sort of combine together. Adam Outler posted one talking about what is unlocked and what does it mean to us, and specifically how does it affect the Verizon Galaxy S3. He goes into a ton of details as to what it is, how it works, why it works. He spends a lot of time going into exactly what unlocking means and what it's useful for and how the locking and bootloader processes all work. And he even calls Samsung out at one point talking about how they've supported the development community in the past and we have responded in kind by making their their devices better by making them run faster, by making new things work on them. And the one line I really liked out of this article, and let me go ahead and quote it. Samsung, every line of code spent working around a problem is a line of code that does not add a new feature. Additionally, an article came out later in the week talking about Adam Outler's progress on the Verizon Galaxy S3. Basically, he's ripped the device entirely apart at this point. He's gotten down to the UART. He's figured out what things could be vulnerable, but not necessarily gotten any sort of vulnerabilities through yet. If you would like to be involved in this in any way other than just saying thanks for trying and this is awesome and things like that, definitely head over to his forum thread. You can see all of the information that he's been posting there, and if you have something to contribute, definitely jump into the conversation. Even though I don't have the Galaxy S3 myself, I cannot wait to see if he can actually get this one unlocked, because it would be a huge boost for the community, a big morale boost, and just sort of a slap back in the face of the big corporations there saying, you can go ahead and lock it down, we'll just go ahead and work around it. We're fine, we're a community. Developers unite! And speaking of developers uniting, what better way than through mushy, mushy, love, love, let's get married stuff. Now, the time that I've been doing stuff here at XDA, I have not done anything mushy type stuff like that. However, there was a thread posted, and it did make the front page of the XDA site, so I do think I should probably talk about it. XDA forum member Robo4130 wanted to propose to his girlfriend, and he wanted to do it in a unique way. Now, the premise of his idea was to have someone help him create a boot animation that when she turns on her device would have the marriage proposal there, and he could be there with her and see how she reacts. Unfortunately, they were not able to get a boot animation created, but someone did help him in getting a live wallpaper set up. That was XDA recognized themer Xanderman112. And of course, you know how it all goes. She looked at it, she loved it, she says yes. 2 thumbs up there, dude. Definitely a very unique and interesting way of proposing. If you'd only caught it on camera and put it on YouTube, you probably would have had lots and lots of views. But anyway, now the last story I'm going to talk about is a little bit of an update on some previous things that we've talked about. As you know, Apple is suing just about every company in the world at this point. There's a lot of lawsuits going back and forth, but Apple is doing an awful lot of it. And they are suing Samsung just about every country you can think of. Every country that Samsung sells devices, Apple is there saying, no, you copied everything from us. Well, a judge in the case in the UK made a very interesting ruling this week. The judge has declared that Apple must make a public apology on its UK website and in numerous newspapers and magazines over the next 6 months. That apology must talk about how Samsung did not copy Apple's and the iPad's designs. Apple is definitely not pleased about this, as it would be expected. They're saying that they're having to publish an advertisement for Samsung, but realistically speaking, suing them in every country where they sell their products is basically advertising for them, because you're getting your name in the media, but you're also getting their name in the media. So one way or another, you are bringing them into the light. You are exposing them as a competitor. You are saying that their products are copying yours. So you're telling the market, hey, by the way, their stuff is as good as ours because we're saying that it copies us. Anyway, I'm not 100% sure on how I feel about this. I mean, making a company apologize for 6 months for essentially just defaming another company by saying, you copied us. It seems a little bit extreme, but at the same time, it might be that slap in the mouth that Apple needs to get over this and move on. Let me know what you think about this down in the comment section below. I'm kind of interested to see both sides of the argument. I know there are going to be the Apple fanboys out there that say, but Samsung did copy everything. And then there's going to be the Android fanboys that say, yeah, but Apple sucks. And then there's going to be the people in the middle, kind of like myself, that just don't know which side of the argument to take. So it should be an interesting discussion. And the very last thing to mention, if you haven't seen it already, earlier this week, Erica, our new XDA TV producer, put out a video talking about EasyUMS, a way to get USB storage working on devices with MTP only, so things like the Galaxy Nexus. Specifically, she targeted the Galaxy S3, so that's the one that you'd probably want to be looking at this about if you have the Galaxy S3. But definitely go ahead and check out her video, give her some comments, let her know what you think about it. But that is all from me for today. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button down below and hit the subscribe button up above, and possibly even checkmark that email me for new uploads thing if you're interested in being emailed when we release new content. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.